Welcome to Fueling Your Legacy, hosted by Samuel Knickerbocker. Each week, we expose the faulty foundational mindsets of the past and rebuild a new, stronger foundation essential in creating your legacy. We've got a lot of work to do, so let's get started. Welcome back to Fuel Your Legacy, and we are super excited about today. I had just the most incredible weekend that I could have asked for. Last weekend, my wife and I went golfing and just did a bunch of fun things, and then came back up to Utah and did some work. But today we would normally do a book review, but I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to do a Broadway play review. Because during the weekend, while we were down in St. George, we went to a play called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Now, there's some things that are really humorous about it. There's some things that were just kind of shocking and outright uncomfortable about it. And then there was also some things that I thought, well, if we look at the overarching principle of these things, then I agree with them, and I want to actually promote some of this stuff. So this week, if you remember from Monday, we're talking about how to have success without sacrifice, how to build a skill set that will work with you in any economy. And when we're talking about this thing, we have to talk about what areas of growth can we really, as individuals, focus on that are monetizable without really ruining or focusing too much on the money, without working too hard, right? Like that's even a thing. I love working, so it's hard for me to think about having success without sacrifice, just because I like sacrifice. But I believe it's possible that if we were to just redefine what some of these words mean, then that's possible. So for me, I don't really consider the word sacrifice. I guess I view it as an investment, right? I've never once sacrificed one thing for another without really seeing a gain and seeing it more as an investment, right? I don't sacrifice my money to my investments or sacrifice my spending for what I want in the future. I invest right now so that I can have more of what I want in the future. So it's just a different way of looking at it. But with the whole theme here, we've got an awesome guest, Nicholas. He's going to be on Friday, and just incredible the things he did. And one of the things that he talks a lot about is making the best out of your situation and finding a way to make money when there doesn't seem to be a way specified to do so. And that is what I want to focus on today, because this play, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, was really funny and kind of racy. But just to give you a little bit of background as to what it was, it was created in the 1950s, so it's a really older one. It was on Broadway for multiple years and received tons of different awards, Tony Awards, but also it received a Pulitzer Prize for a drama. And to receive a Pulitzer Prize for something, it has to be like pertinent and basically be talking about what's going on in society and have some more real everyday applications. And this definitely does. So I'll give you the synopsis of it, and without giving too much away, hopefully. But the synopsis of the thing is basically there's a guy who's a window washer, and he gets a hold of a book that's called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. So he's reading this book, and he's just doing everything. He's super coachable. He's doing everything that it says to do, and tells him where to work, what position to get in once you get into a large company, the right size of company, all these different things. So while this is playing out, he's rising to the top of the company to gain success. He has a love interest of one of the secretaries. And then also, along with that kind of strange-ish love interest, you get thrown into almost like the Me Too type or the antithesis of the Me Too movement, right? The reason the Me Too movement should be there of just all the secretaries being sexually harassed, all the secretaries being looked at as pieces of meat. And not only are they looked at that way, but almost that in that time period, they wanted it as far as like that. That's how they saw themselves as getting ahead. It was definitely the opposite of feminism. The woman was just thinking, hey, if I can just be good for my man, if I can make sure his food's warm, do his clothes, be happy and smiling when he gets home, make sure I'm all dolled up when I wake up and when I go to bed, so he never sees anything other than this perfect woman image of me. That's really the sentiment that the women feel in the show. And then another side of it is the CEO. He has his wife that he's not really interested in. And then because they are having a bickering relationship, then it focuses more on the CEO and his mistress and the cover-up and how they get around doing these things. And anyways, it's just a mess of a show. But what I really, really liked about it was the idea of, one, intentionally planning out your day. So many people think, oh, I've just got to work harder. I've got to go sacrifice. I've got to lose more of this area of my life and no longer watch TV and no longer go out with my friends and just focus. And yes, to a degree, I don't necessarily disagree with that entirely. I think that hard work is always going to outwork talent. However, smart work is really, really important. And that they made a very good understanding of that, to the point where they were, from just a business perspective, I've talked to some people or tried to get a hold of different professionals over and over by trying to directly contact them. Well, in this play, you see the main character kind of sidestep and really get in good with the guy's secretary, not in a sexual way, but like they became friends. He was flattering or complimentary of her so that she was willing to help him out. So he was meticulous about everything that he needed to know. He went and learned different things about the person he was trying to impress. So many of these elements and skills, it's not manipulation, it's called influence. And so many people think that if they were to go out this far and really do some background research, then they would know that they are, or they would feel like they're doing a little bit stalking type things. They're trying way too hard. They're not leaving it up to chance. For me, I don't want to leave anything up to chance. So when I'm making phone calls to people that I've been referred to for my business, then I'm looking at everybody's Facebook. I'm looking at everybody's LinkedIn. I'm looking at everybody's Instagram. I want to know where they went to school. I want to know what they like, the colors they like. I want to know what their family situation is. Are they married, divorced, have children, no children? Do they like to travel, right? All of these different things. This is all like reconnaissance. Before I ever even pick up the phone and talk to somebody, I've already scoped out who they are, what they're interested in, and how I can create a greater rapport by simply speaking about things that they're interested in and finding commonalities. Now, this is where the difference between manipulation and influence happen. If I go on there and I'm totally creating a facade of myself and I'm a shapeshifter just to match up with every person that I talk to, that is where I would call it manipulation. However, you can succeed in business without really trying as hard if all you do is go in and see these things and then find out what you have in common with all of these people. When you start looking for all the commonalities, and then that's what you talk about. You don't talk about all the stuff you don't have in common. You just talk about the stuff that you do have in common with each person. And as you do that, you can get into rapport with people faster and gain another level of trust with them to really progress both not only your business and the reason you're calling them, but hopefully the reason you're calling them is actually to benefit them. And that's I mean, there's so many things that are ethical that you have to, this whole conversation is a very ethical conversation. But what's also interesting about this show is, as this young man, J. Pierpont Finch was his name, and as he was going through here, he was looking for every opportunity. He was constantly asking the people who had been there before him and saying, what potholes should I avoid? How can I do better? How can I get straight through here without failing? And we need to do better at doing that in our lives. I do it for sure. Need to do better at looking ahead, looking at the people who are ahead of me and saying, hey, show me the line. This is a line that they use a lot when you're out golfing, is they'll have one person putt and say, hey, let's see if I can show you the line. Basically show you how the green is pitched, how it slopes, and how to hit the ball so to have the greatest chance of success in actually getting your ball in the hole. And so it's a great analogy there where it's like, who's been ahead of you, who's going to hit the ball first, who's going to be there, and show you the line of how to get to your destination the quickest, most effective way. And that's what I really drew out of this. What we're going to talk about with Nicholas is where he came from. He actually started I don't think it was a window washer. I forget what he started as, but he started as just a worker, a laborer. And he grew into, from his career, he created in a matter of the last 3 or 4 years, a multi-million-dollar business of coaching other men how to become real men, right? How to be service-oriented, how to be loyal, and how to really care about those that they're with, how to help them be more committed people in all areas of their life, not just business, but just in all areas of their life, how to be more committed. And so he talks a lot about how do we seize the opportunity? How do we see different opportunities? And it's simply by changing our minds. So as this J. Pierre Finch was going through this company, everything he was doing, he was saying, okay, that's going to benefit me. That's not going to benefit me. At times, being in a relationship was going to benefit him. At other times, it wasn't. And he was very conscious of that. He was intentionally creating the future that he wanted. And as you take that to heart and start intentionally creating the future that you want and start looking at, okay, every opportunity, how can I make this to serve my end goal? Then that's when you're really going to be able to excel in business. And then I truly believe you'll be able to have success without sacrifice. It will be easy. And plus, these are skill building things where you're building these skills of being observant. You're building skills of looking for what other people have in common. You're building habits, mindsets, behaviors. You're building these things that are going to help you no matter what the monetary exchange is, no matter what company you're in. If you understand people, if you understand how to interact with people and have a plan and chart things out properly, there's just I don't think there's any way you could fail in that type of situation. So that being said, I think it's worth, there's quite a few videos on YouTube seeing this play. If you want to just go watch it, there's a high school play that does it. We watched it at just a community theater, so it wasn't professional or anything, but it was just a lot of fun. I mean, it's a fun play. I highly recommend it. It's a little bit racy at times, not mostly just on the innuendo side, not necessarily on the dress or not the dress side. Everybody's wearing appropriate clothing, but definitely there's a lot of innuendos, some affairs that are happening. It's just an interesting thing to watch. And some of it's funny, some of it's outright painful because some things haven't changed over the last, 50, 60, 70 years. And that's a little bit hard to see because it's like you want to laugh, but it's also sad. Kind of that women are still looked at certain ways in our society by certain people. And it's just something that we can all do a little bit better to change. We can all do a little bit better to treat other people how we'd want to be treated. Don't make assumptions about people's lives. Keep your hands to yourself. I mean, there's a lot of things you can learn from it that are just bad examples in the play, but good things to get out of it. But most of all, I want you to go watch it and think about how is this kid succeeding? How is he having success without all the sacrifice, without all the years, putting in years of work? How is he doing this? And how could I do that in my individual career, in my home life, in my family life, all these different areas? How can I be able to achieve that same type of level of success? So with that, we're excited to have on Nicholas on Friday, and we'll catch you next time on Fuel Your Legacy. Thanks for joining us today. If what you heard resonated with you, please like, comment, and share on social media. Tag me so I can give you a shout out on the next episode. And thanks to all those who have left a review. It helps spread the message of what it really takes to build a legacy that lasts. Catch you next time on Fueling Your Legacy.